what are some natural enemies to the bat? Like a bat in general. Yeah. And do any of them have 6 legs?
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, fellow Misfits?
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast.
Today, we actually have a well-thought-out episode, kind of.
To an extent, not really, but kind of.
We have a plan.
This is an episode that we discussed early on, like briefly when we started the podcast.
We made some ideas that we just never go to.
Exactly.
Sometimes the ideas feel better for YouTube, so we're like, oh, we'll save it. But you know what?
Yeah.
We just said, you know what? This topic we can definitely talk about for at least half an hour, minimum.
Exactly. So to give you context, we're going to be talking about the concept of the Sinister Six. So what that is in Marvel Comics, there is the Sinister Six, which is literally just a group of Spider-Man's villains coming together to be like, we can't beat them individually, so we should all team up and kick his butt together. And that never ends well.
Never ends well, but it is epic to see a group of some of the favorites.
Yeah, the fan favorites,
time,
basically, yeah. We've almost seen this really in the most recent Spider-Man film. We had basically a Sinister Five.
They feel like they've been building up to a Sinister Six multiple times.
They did that in the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. That one post-credit scene, you see like Doc Ock's hand, like the octopus, and it's saying in it's been.
You see Rhino at the end. You see the Scorpion suit.
Yeah, you see a lot, and you're like, okay, they're here.
And then they're like, we're not doing another movie.
Yeah, they're like, just kidding.
The second one did bad.
And then you think about with the Venom movies and the Morbius movie and the Kraven the Hunter movie that's coming out later. Like, okay, we have potential.
Building quite a rogues gallery.
Exactly. So to give you context, Sinister Six is a group of supervillains appearing in Marvel Comics, mainly those featuring Spider-Man. What's crazy, though, is I did not think that this Sinister Six concept was that early on in comics, because it seems like such a crazy idea to be like, yo, what if we get
you have to build up your villains, right?
Exactly. But the first appearance of Sinister Six is technically in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1, which debuted in January of 1964.
It's a while ago.
Just a little bit. What's that, 60 years? No. Yeah.
Yep.
60 years from this month of when we're recording this episode, because I don't know when this episode's coming out. But the group consisted of Doc Ock, Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, and Kraven the Hunter. Some of the fan favorites of Spider-Man's villains. Over time, people have joined, disbanded. There's been a Sinister 12 at some point. The Goblin, different Goblins, Kraven the Hunter's sons joined. Different versions of Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, so on and so forth have joined over the years. But we wanted to take that premise of taking a group of fan favorite 6 villains and put them together in a team. But instead of doing our own Spider-Man version, twist it a little bit. And there's another big hero that has a crud ton of a rogues gallery, and that is a Batman.
It's true. He does have quite the rogues gallery.
So the premise of today is to each kind of make our own Sinister Six style Batman team
to take on Batman.
And obviously they would lose because it's Batman.
Yeah, there's a lot going into it you have to think about, obviously. Criteria is, I would say, do we want to say any Bat family villain or specific to Batman?
Huh. That's a difficult question.
Because there are Bat family-ish exclusive quotations villains, but then they end up being, mess with one of us, mess with all of us.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, Deathstroke technically isn't a Batman villain, but he is a Batman villain at the same time, you know?
Yeah, he's like a goth. Yeah.
So I think they put him under that umbrella of a Bat family villain.
Yeah. That is fair. So then, Connor, let's just keep it general. You can do Bat family or just Batman villains. Because obviously, at the end of the day, if they're going for, unless it's like a character that's in Bloodhaven specifically for like Nightwing, otherwise you could probably just keep it.
My second question is, I feel like we should have the same person making the team. Like in Marvel, there's someone who's like, hey, this team needs to come together. Now, unlike the original one that you mentioned, that was Doc Ock, who was like, hey, I'm going to get some
the rest of
together.
Them. Yeah.
I think we should go more the Kingpin route or Norman Osborn route of someone being like, I'm creating a team to try and get rid of this.
Okay, but Norman Osborn was also on that team.
So we're not doing that. The person's not going to be part of the team.
Not part of the team.
They're putting this group together in hopes to get rid of Batman.
Gotcha.
And I think we should have that same person be the head.
For both of our teams?
Yeah. Be like the one who's like, I created this because I want to get rid of Batman.
So I have 2 answers for that then.
You already have 2 answers.
Yeah, because this is the only thing I was thinking about going into this episode is who would want them to come together. And there's 2 answers in my opinion. You either have the Court of Owls.
Oh, interesting. The whole court being
we need to get this group together to defeat Batman.
Okay.
Or Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler.
I see where you're going from because like his intellect in a way.
Yeah.
But I also think someone like Ra's al Ghul.
You think Ra's al Ghul? Okay.
I think he would be like, you know what? He's not like he's a problem, but I don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna find a group that hates him as much as I do and have them do my dirty work. He's a very intelligent person.
He is, but I feel like with that, he already has a League of Assassins. So I feel like
I think Penguin, any of the more mobby like people, Penguin, Black Mask, are capable of being like. I just don't think that they would have the pull to get some of the villains to do it.
That's why I think Riddler kind of does in a way.
Riddler could almost trick people. I think Hugo Strange is a good shout for putting the team together as well. In terms of intellect and the ability to manipulate people into doing stuff.
I mean, I feel like the Court of Owls is a great answer, though.
And a lot of people, you might be saying, yeah, but you did this team, and then we basically end up making just a different Suicide Squad, which is fair. So you could argue Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
As
in a way, Suicide Squad is just Batman Sinister 6.
Right? Like, Amanda Waller could be the one who puts this team together to be like, they're not just the Suicide Squad. This is I need to get rid of the Batman Squad.
It's true. I mean, she did make the Justice League of America New 52 to take down the Justice League.
But I think I like your Court of Owls. I think I like that the best.
I think that makes the most
underground
sense.
Kind of rich or the people that are better than anyone.
That are already controlling the city, essentially.
And Batman's ruining a lot of how they can make money. Because crime is money.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good starting point.
So with that being said, I think if we're doing Court of Owls as the base, I feel like there should be a Talon on the team.
I see where you come from. Talon is a pretty easy shout.
So for those who don't know, Talon is basically the Court of Owls.
I say we go through, we create
hunter.
Some of the ones we think could be on the team, and then we start cutting.
One that in my opinion, will not be on the team.
Joker.
It's Joker.
Can't
be on the team. He's too prideful.
He's just chaos incarnate. Yeah. He would never, even if you think he's going to work with it, he's not working. And I don't think anyone's dumb enough to be like, yeah, we're bringing him onto the team.
No, exactly.
So yeah, I'm totally okay. No Joker does not make any sense for the team overall.
Catwoman, no, because she's too much of an anti-hero.
Too much, yeah. Anti-heroes are tough. Penguin, I think, similar to Joker in terms of his pride wouldn't be like, he's like, I can hire my own people to get rid of Batman.
Same with Two-Face, I feel.
Yeah, so we're slowly taking out some of the mobsters. Black Mask, I would take him out.
Riddler, I feel like I would still keep on the team.
I think Riddler has the potential to make the team, so I would put him in Talon and Riddler so far as potentials. I also think
Scarecrow's
he almost feels like he perfectly slots in.
Yeah, Scarecrow, and I'm also gonna put Bane for now for me.
I would also put Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. That one's on a maybe list for me. Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze? No,
I don't think
because he's not really.
Depends on the story.
It is true, yeah. He is a villain, but I don't think at the end of the day, he's not out to destroy Batman. He's out to destroy Gotham.
Harley Quinn, already part of the Suicide Squad. I'm going to say no.
No.
Similarly to to be fair, all the villains are going to be chaotic in their own way, but she brings almost too much of a wild card. Yeah. Killer Croc. It's
either, to me, you either have to have Bane or you have to have Killer Croc.
It's the
strength.
Have
two meaty boys.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Let's build like a list at this moment that's like, okay, this is this list, and then we can cut things that might, if we're building the ultimate team, like you said, okay, maybe we only have one Brawn.
Yeah.
Hush, I think is good. He has that motivation to hate Batman.
It's true.
In his mind,
that
is. I thought that this one, I brought this up when we first threw this idea out there.
Hugo.
No, Jason Todd.
Oh, I don't think so.
He isn't one. He's not truly a Batman villain. He is part of the Bat family in certain stories. The other thing is, I think Jason would just kill everyone. Is the issue.
That's what I mean.
He's such an anti-hero.
He's prideful in a different way than Joker. I feel like he would go undercover.
He would join the team to be like, okay, they got rid of Batman. Now I'm getting rid of them.
Yeah.
Just fun little show of that he could be in there. I don't think any of the ghouls are in there then.
No.
Unless it was like made by one of them.
Yeah, if it was made by Raish, then Tally would probably be here. Hugo, no.
Clayface? Does he fit into the big brawn?
Yeah, I'll put him down for now.
I think more easily manipulated to be part of the team.
Yeah. Deadshot.
Because if we're taking into consideration how do you get them to be on the team, like would they be on?
Yeah.
I think Clayface is probably easier to convince than Bane.
Yeah, I would agree. Deadshot, Mad Hatter?
He kind of falls in this. We can butt him, but he's similar to the Riddler in some ways.
Man-Bat.
Nah, I wouldn't put Man-Bat.
Too much of a wild card. Same with Solomon Grundy. If
you can't really control them or trust their intellect in a way,
then don't put them on the team.
Then don't put them on the team. Ventriloquist? No.
Skip that one. None of the crime bosses.
Yeah, no Falcone or
Mr.
anything.
Zsasz, ooh, that's a little too out there as well.
He is almost like a Joker.
Yeah.
He's just another Joker, just a little bit more. How would you describe it? He is a more personal Joker in terms of to the victims.
Less of a psychopath, more of a sociopath?
Maybe, yeah. He's more messed up when it comes to the people he's killing, whereas Joker almost like those are just flies. The people he kills are flies.
Yeah.
Whereas Zsasz is like he's like a classic serial. I'm enjoying killing these people. That's like I love it.
This next one I want to put on my list. Owlman.
You want to put Owlman on? Interesting.
Because he has similar aspects of Batman.
Well, because he is basically Batman.
He is technically Batman.
I just don't. Why would he join? How would he join?
That is a fair point. So maybe not Owlman.
Not Owlman. Firefly, though.
You skipped a few.
Skipped a few that I don't think would crack it.
Firefly, maybe. Professor Pig.
We are starting to get further down the list of like, yes, they're part of the Rogues Gallery, but some of them are, which also gives them a little bit of an advantage in terms of they could join because of that. Like, hey, I can't take Batman on my own, but maybe if I join these big shots, quotations, like Bronze Tiger.
Yeah. What else we got here? I'm scrolling down a little bit, and some of these are just kind of like KG Beast.
Yeah, Calculator. Pretty much has a little bit too much of a similarity to the Riddler.
The Ratcatcher, but he's literally been on the Suicide Squad a couple times. Different version of Ventriloquist. Bat Sorrow. Sandra Kane. Interesting that she's on this list.
Yeah, another similar to
Jason,
where you can't truly have him be up against him.
That would be a fun one, but it wouldn't work as Phantasm. Such a great film. Crazy Quilts. Monk's Reaper.
I think we might have our general list to work with for the most part. Just looking through quickly this list that we have. We had Vulture. Batman's very own Vulture. An homage to what we're doing.
Oh, but of course. Then we'll have to add Clayface in reference of Sandman.
Yeah, there you go. There you're talking. Who does Batman have that could be octopus-like? Poison Ivy, I guess.
Poison Ivy, probably. Yeah.
All right, I think we got. How many do we have on our list then?
We're looking at 9, 10.
10. Okay, so we don't have that many cuts to make.
No, which is not too bad. I mean, I didn't add a couple, like, I didn't put, like, Harley Quinn or anything on it, obviously.
No, I don't. Yeah. I feel like that's pretty fair.
So we got Talon, Riddler, Scarecrow, Bane, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, Hush, Clayface, Mad Hatter, and Firefly.
Okay. I feel like Poison Ivy, for me, is a pretty easy yes. Just due to, like, every time you ever read it, there aren't too many stories where Poison Ivy isn't fighting Batman with someone else.
It's true, but she has become more of an anti-hero over the last few
I don't
years,
care about that crap.
But as a whole, yeah.
Yeah. As a straight-up villain, I feel like she's a good support. Mm-hmm. If we were to, like, be, like, meta gaming this.
It's true.
She can create rough terrain, things for Batman to dodge, So
member number 1, Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
Talon, I feel, just has to be on there. To me, it makes sense because Courthouse would want someone they can trust, in quotations, on the team.
I can see that, but Talon's also failed.
Talon, yeah, it's true.
Are they going to the Sinister Six because Talon isn't the answer?
Oh, interesting twist. Okay.
Right? Maybe they're like, we still have Talon and we'll have him do dirty work, but they know that Talon can't compete with Batman. So maybe this is why they go out of house and be like, we need. And I'm assuming, in my opinion, if the court does something like this, they're also like, hey, and then we also potentially get rid of competition.
That is true.
Or issue people around the city.
Interesting. Okay.
Or maybe they have Talon on the outside of the Sinister Six and be like, when Batman's finished, you finish them.
That could be a twist. I could see that go.
We're writing our own Batman story.
Frick yeah. What's
DC,
up, DC?
Hit us up.
Where you at?
So
Riddler?
Court of Owls, we haven't said the reason why, but they want to get rid of Batman.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty general reason. He's stopping crime. Crime helps make them money. They want to stay rich. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
On the outskirts, they have Talon. Talon, the whole reason this team is because they know Talon can't handle Batman on his own. So they have Talon on the outside. They're creating this team to get rid of Batman. Once they complete their job, like a Suicide Squad level thing, they're going to have Talon eliminate them.
Such a cool concept. I'm here for this, honestly.
Okay. First member, Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. Second member, Riddler.
So you're going for someone with intellect.
Yeah, I feel like you need to have at least one person on
someone that's going to have a plan.
Yeah. Someone who they're going, in quotation, to be put in charge.
I thought Bane could be in charge.
I guess it really depends on which version of Bane.
Yeah, if you go with, like, not the mindless version of Bane.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, I'm talking, like, Bane that, like, broke Batman's back.
Yeah.
Snuck into his
Nightfall
Batcave.
Batman.
Yeah. Peak Bane. But would peak Bane... My only issue with peak Bane is how would they convince him to join? I guess they could literally just lay it out and be like, hey, like, we're trying to get rid of the Batman.
Yeah.
Like, this is... Lay out the plan and be like, this is the best way.
I think
Bane's a maybe. Because, like you said, we have a couple brawn, and maybe it's just easier to bring in the other brawns.
So
but he is smart.
So we have, like, I'm looking at the list, and we have smart players. We got Riddler, we got Bane, Scarecrow.
Yeah, you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly. So I think it's one of those things, if we go, it's like, in comparison with Bane and Killer Croc, to me, you either have to have Riddler or Scarecrow.
Do you bring, like, I almost want to kick Killer Croc out because Killer Croc is a more common Suicide Squad member. So I almost want to get rid of him and be like, you know what? We see him often.
Okay, so we'll get Killer Croc gone.
And then we can have the argument between something like Clayface and Bane.
Clayface would be easier to manipulate.
Exactly.
Also, depending on which version of Clayface
that is also the problem. There are many Clayfaces.
Which I do appreciate with Batman is the fact that he doesn't really have too many different versions. I mean, to be fair, we've learned that there's 3 different versions of Joker.
Yes, but for
like
the longest
Riddler,
time it was one.
Scarecrow, Two-Face, Bane, Poison Ivy, Hush. There hasn't been like multiple people where you look at like Spider-Man, for example. A couple different people have done Vulture. A couple different ones have done Mysterio.
Yeah, that's true. I could see
Goblin even.
A plan that the Riddler puts out that brings Batman into a Riddler-based trap that then has Poison Ivy have a setup that combined with Scarecrow's toxins coming from maybe perhaps plants he knows of that can help genetically modify with poison ivy to like release pollen or something, like a pollen fear trap, basically. So I can see those three already working pretty well together.
Okay. So poison ivy, Riddler, and Scarecrow.
The only issue all three of those guys have is combat.
You're right. So there's the intellect.
Batman gets over any of that. The fisticuffs, none of them hold a dime.
So put someone in that doesn't have to do fisticuffs and can be from afar. Like Hush. Who uses
but Poison
guns.
Ivy is from afar.
She is more of a ranged, Riddler and Scarecrow are more...
We do need a combat
mental,
specialist.
Which would have to be Bane then.
Bane and or Clayface, or both.
Clayface would be good because he'd be able to just kind of
eat the tax,
Yeah. And he'd be hanging around and wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I guess other than like the ghouls, like who's the best hand-to-hand combat that would be able to compete with Batman?
It's true. Someone that's been on the Suicide Squad. That's a good question, though. That's where I think Talon would come in handy, though.
I understand. But that's also where you think. So obviously you got the ghouls. You got, obviously we already said, but Jason Todd. You got even someone like Catwoman could. Not, and remember, this isn't necessarily beat them hand to hand, beat Batman. It's more someone that could buy time, stall him out.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Bane.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if we were right this story, in the end, obviously they lose somehow, probably because of self-destruction of...
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything on Batman. It'd be them...
It'd be something pretty cliche.
Exactly.
Someone disagrees and then they implode. But yeah, I feel like Bane probably makes it.
Yeah. This would be where Red Hood would come in handy, too.
So who do we have?
Riddler, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Bane.
Riddler, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Bane.
So we got two more.
I think
would be Hush, Clayface, Mad Hatter, or Firefly.
I think Hush makes it.
Hush has to make it.
I think Hush makes it because he can also give insight.
Yeah, he knows.
He can help mentally break Bruce.
Yeah.
Not Batman. Bruce.
Yeah. Where I think I think it'd be an emotional break though, more than anything. Because
that's something that throws him off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because if you look at like Riddler, Scarecrow, and Poison Ivy, collectively they would be like a mental.
In my
break.
eyes, not that we were trying to match Spider-Man to Batman. We've got Mysterio. That's kind of in line with Scarecrow.
Yep.
Right.
The illusions and stuff like that.
Yeah. You got Poison Ivy kind of giving that. Not that Doc Ock is the best, but giving that kind of cover range.
Yeah.
Annoyance, like reliance on not her own, but what she has with her, which is like the plants. Depending on the Sinister Six you look at, all of them have had muscle of some sort in them. So
Bane obviously fits that muscle.
mold.
The Hush again, intellect. I feel like that almost be like
it can be a combination.
Goblin
of
joins from here and there to mess with because 9 times out of 10 Norman knows. Chameleon too.
So I'm okay with Bane being in there.
Okay.
And Bane can handle a lot of the upfront fisticuffs. So we need one more spot.
The Batman who laughs.
Oh, what a twist.
To me, it would probably have to be Clayface or Firefly. I think with Mad Hatter and Riddler would just not go.
Firefly's not a
well
bad
together.
show because of like we don't really have. He's almost like Vulture-esque. Like he has that air superiority.
Air superiority.
But I do like the idea of bringing in Clayface as well and have two people overwhelming Batman while the others are doing stuff.
Yeah, a good distraction.
I can just see this happening in some sort of like facility that the Riddler just has rigged up to be just his own like playhouse of like, this is, you're in my trap now, and basically him fighting Bane and Clayface kind of pushes him to the next issue.
It'd be dope. It would be insane.
But Firefly flies.
It's true. So let's break it down then. Let's look at the powers of, like, if you look at Clayface, for example, right? He has temporary shape-shifting, voice mimicry, malleable clay-like body, and it allows him to manipulate his physical features at will. So he's definitely Sandman, essentially.
Yeah. Not that we need to have them, but it is just funny that way.
But a nice shape-shifting ability would be amusing.
Which would also bring in chameleon level things. He's almost 2-in-1.
Exactly. So I think it'd be like, could you imagine if Clayface pretends to be like the Joker kind of thing like that?
Well, and imagine Clayface with the intelligence of the Riddler.
Exactly.
The scenarios they can set up to bait Batman.
Be juicy.
Because the other thing is, maybe the Sinister Six isn't even just trying to eliminate him. Maybe they just are a constant thorn in the side for this story to allow the court to, maybe they have an even bigger plan and they just want him distracted the whole time. And the Riddler, all the Riddler does is just have Batman going all over Gotham while the true crime is happening.
Yeah.
Right? He has Clayface being the Joker causing what appears to be Joker level chaos somewhere. And then on the other side of Gotham, you have what feels like it's just a really cruddy day for Batman. And all of a sudden there's, I don't know, there's Firefly causing some crazy arson at somewhere.
The other thing about Firefly is that he's more tech-based. So if like...
That is true. We don't have anyone... I guess the Riddler
But I don't know
done.
if you need tech-based, though, when you're fighting Batman. Because I feel like he'd find a way to be able
You
to
say
kinda...
that, but...
I know.
Batman has a lot of tech. He may not be Iron Man.
Batman
but...
has a lot of tech, which makes me feel like the tech things wouldn't really surprise him, and he'd be able to take down Firefly very quickly.
Yeah, you're saying the overwhelming of having two strengthy plus the ability to shapeshift is useful. Yeah, I say we had Clayface. We kick Firefly.
I think we're just writing some weird fanfic right now, you know?
I mean, if only we knew how to draw.
Exactly. Then we can make this a comic. Okay, so we have the Court of Owls creates their version of the Sinister Six. Who's on that team? The Riddler, who in my opinion would be like a fake leader. Like the Court of Owls would kind of put him in charge.
I don't think he would be the actual leader, but I think he would be the mind behind the schemer, the one who creates the plan of attack.
You have Scarecrow,
who just goes along.
With the ride, supplies his fear toxin. Basically, that's what
or
he brings
him
to the
and
team.
Poison Ivy can work together to create some sort of hybrid fear toxin plan.
Which goes into the third one of Poison Ivy,
who just is overall
broken,
solid support character.
Followed by Bane,
who I think would end up being the actual leader.
Which is so crazy because if you've seen Bane, I mean, Dark Knight Rises does a good job of showing his intellect, like his intelligence, in comparison to the Batman and Robin film.
Yeah, that does not do Bane justice.
That's what I mean.
All.
That's what I mean. In comparison, like when you compare that Bane to the Dark Knight Rises Bane, because we haven't really seen, even Bane in the animated series wasn't too intelligent.
He was always like, I feel like if you see the Bane in Young Justice was more done towards having more of an intellect, if I recall.
I do think Bane makes an appearance in the Gotham TV show. Not that I've seen it.
But the thing is, Bane often loses control when he's like venomed out or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the whole point.
But the Batman Robin film, I think, made him out to be too much of a just meathead, which is just not the case. Right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more, Batman Rise. I'm thinking more of Batman Rises, like the Dark Knight Rises level of intellect, like where he's ability to recognize what's going on, scheme, research, know who he's fighting, understand them, know how to break them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So he's popped up in a lot of anime. Fun fact, you would never guess who voices him in Young Justice.
Matt Mercer.
Danny Trejo. Which just seems so random.
But yeah, so I'm going more like he can do the fisticuffs.
Yep.
In terms of combat. Worst case, he venoms out. I do still think like it's like a combination of the Banes, right?
Yeah.
We're taking Tom Hardy's Bane in terms of edginess.
True.
Ability to fight, hand-to-hand combat, not just because of strength, but just because he can fight.
Yeah.
But also we combine the ability to just roid out.
I think that's pretty dope.
Which also can obviously lead to the downfall of this team.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I'm having him end up being the de facto leader in terms of who's going to stop him. Who in that team do you think has a strong enough personality to be like, no, I don't think so, Bane?
That is true. I don't know, actually.
Like, you could still say the Riddler, and he manipulates Bane into thinking that Bane is the leader.
Unless Scarecrow... That's the thing, is like, these characters on their own are very meticulous. So, like, the fact that they're working together, I could see each one betraying each other.
Exactly. They all have their own motive.
Like, if Bane has to, like, venom out and, like, Hulk out kind of thing like that.
And then Clayface and...
Scarecrow
like,
mixes a fear toxin into it instead.
Yeah, that's
and,
true.
like, he's able to take over Bane.
It's possible.
So I think that is where the story would end, where they just, like you said earlier on, like, they would just start going against
They just
each
implode.
other.
It's
They would
classic.
implode. Classic villain cliche, but with this group, 100%.
But you can see how this team could be a threat to Batman and cause initially some issues, for sure.
Definitely.
Which I like.
What I like, too, is the fact that Riddler, like you said, would think that he is in charge. And I feel like he would try and take credit for it, too. And he wouldn't even mention the court. And I feel like it'd be super cool, too, as the reader, if you didn't know it was the court that started it either.
Oh, you think
Like,
it's all the Riddler.
You think it's all the Riddler, and then, like, the end of... If it's, like, a 6-issue thing, the end of issue 3 is the Riddler meeting with the court, kind of thing like that, after they think they've defeated Batman. It'd be a good twist halfway through.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
And then, yeah, so in total, we got Riddler, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Bane, Hush, and Clayface.
What does Hush provide? Just kind of that...
Mental.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics that he has to jump through.
But then would he, like... Hush is an interesting, complex character because I don't think Hush would, like, tell the rest of the group that he knows.
Yeah, I don't think he tells them that he's Bruce Wayne, but maybe Hush, in terms of, like, what we've talked about, you have Clayface pull Batman one way, and Hush is who pulls him the other way.
But I also don't think Hush and Riddler would get along.
Well, that's true. So do we replace Hush?
That's the thing. Is like, but who do we replace him with? Freaking Mad Hatter or Firefly?
We could do Firefly.
Or Killer Croc or Talon. It can't be Talon. If we're going with the idea of
I like the idea of Court having Talon, like, watching over them.
Exactly.
Like, they don't know that Talon's watching over them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that plays to Talon's strength as well.
I would agree with that.
And the real twist is that Talon is actually Dick Grayson.
Dun, dun, dun. Which, fun fact, that the original Talon is, like, Dick Grayson's, like, great-great-grandfather or something like that. And, like...
And they wanted it to be Dick Grayson.
They wanted it to be Dick Grayson. They're the ones that had a hand in killing Dick's parents.
Oh, such a good story.
Such a good freaking story. Ugh. I look at it.
It also would have been epic to see Dick Grayson as Talon.
Yeah.
And, like, a reveal, similar to the craziness when Red Hood's revealed.
I'm very surprised they have not done an alternate, like, timeline where Dick decides to become Talon. But I also don't know if...
It could come. I feel like the Court's just not... It's this amazing thing that is now in the DC universe and Batman Rogues Gallery. But no one's taking advantage of how, like, complex it can be.
Exactly. Like, I'm looking at, like, we've seen it a lot in the New 52, but, like, in DC Rebirth, the first mention is Nightwing Volume 4.
But it's just, and the reason for that is because it's part of his history now.
Yeah.
It's so entwined. But yeah, it feels like Scott Snyder is the only one who's really talked about it or really references it because it's like the start of his run, right?
This is a slight spoiler, but this is a couple years old now. During the period referred to as the Rick Grayson saga, Nightwing Volume 4, issues 50 to 77. This is DC Rebirth. Following the brain injury that gave Dick amnesia, it is revealed that the amnesia was the work of the Court of Owls in an attempt to finally get Dick to join them.
Nice.
His memories were altered and reveals his darkest days as his friends and allies work to free him.
Not bad.
Interesting.
But not quite to the level we want.
Yeah, not to the point where I'm like, yo, I gotta read that.
Yeah, do Do we just bring in? No, I don't want to bring in another musclehead like Croc.
When did that happen?
Maybe Hush is just too solo-y.
So when I remember reading, it was like, I can't remember exactly who was Talon. Do you remember who it was?
No, I don't remember who. It almost felt like it didn't matter.
It was like William Cobbs, I think, who it was. And it was like a connection to Dick Grayson, right?
Yes.
So,
I just remember it was like Dick Grayson's friend or something, right? Child.
Cobb is the assassin sent to murder Bruce Wayne prior to the Night of the Owls. He's also the great-grandfather of Dick Grayson, and later member of the Suicide Squad.
Oh, that was, yeah.
So someone takes off the mantle after that, which is really weird to me. James Gordon Jr.
That's random.
I didn't know that was a character. I knew Gordon had a child, like a young son. But
Okay, we're removing. Just put in Firefly. I think he fits more of the mold of like, could be manipulated to join. Be like, hey, you can't be Batman on your own, but maybe together.
Yeah. So get out of Hush.
I just think Hush overall is too. Not that some of these guys won't think in their best interest, but I think Hush is almost too solo.
I think
act.
Hush also knows too much.
He's too solo acty.
Yeah.
That's why Batman Hush as its own story feels so good and so impactful.
Yeah. Great animated film too, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, final answers here: Riddler, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Bane, Firefly, Clayface.
Yes, sir.
All controlled by the Court of Owls themselves.
Goal is to eliminate the Batman in
And then-
whatever way they plan.
And then Talon will eradicate
And then
them.
and then Talon is there to.
Could you see a subplot of Talon just getting like upset and kind of jealous that he's not part of the group?
No, because Talon is there to not think.
True. He's just a
He's a puppet.
yeah. He's an assassin puppet.
He almost doesn't have an opinion. He's
That's
like,
true.
this is what I'm told to do. This is what I'm doing. So I do think maybe even upon failure, then we follow the series in our universe for Batman. Maybe these villains do get eliminated when they fail, or if they succeed. Maybe they do get eliminated, and then Batman doesn't know why, because he didn't do it, and he's framed.
Ooh. Okay.
They fail, so this is the way the story breaks down. We open with Riddler with the Sinister Six
Here it is. Storytelling.
at a table,
Yep.
giving out his plan and why he thinks they should all work together, what they can all bring to the table, and what Batman is, what Batman represents, and that they don't want it anymore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They come up with their own plan. Doesn't have to be specified, obviously, in the form of this comic story. They lead out. You can go to Bruce, whatever Bruce is doing, Chad and Alfred, something.
Yep.
And then the first issue pops up, whatever it is. Maybe it's the Joker has set up a car bomb. And it's a bunch of laughing gas, something, causing chaos on the east side of Gotham. And Bruce is like, I gotta go. Goes, gotta go deal with the Joker. I hate the Joker. Joker's evil. Goes to the Joker, fights the Joker, realizes that the Joker isn't the Joker. He's Clayface. Why is Clayface pretending to be the Joker? On the west side, Firefly has just caused a bunch of fires. Multiple buildings. Arson attack. Are they working together? Are they not? What's going on? Gotham always has crime, but this feels calculated. On his way, after potentially getting Clayface, quotations, because I'm almost certain Clayface can separate into two, can he?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know.
Either way, we can say he gets, let's say it's not. Clayface is, he thinks he's in a car, but on the outside, he's got Bane or whoever ready to free him. Right? Mm-hmm. So Batman's on his way to Firefly when he spots some form of a Riddler bait. Now he knows the Riddler's involved. maybe it is all connected. Goes to where the Riddler, whatever the Riddler's riddle leads him. I'm not good with riddles, so I can't create that off the top of my head. But the riddle leads him to an abandoned warehouse. Wow, how Batman is.
Wow, crazy concept.
And in this warehouse, Batman's, I don't know, let's say he's saving someone. Honestly, F it. Let's just say it's Alfred. Let's just throw in some, someone that Bruce cares about. And in terms of saving him, boom, the trap is sprung. He walks by what appears to be some general plants. But they poof, some pollen that's with fear toxin. It's not normal. I've never seen such a plant. Proceed to have some acid trip for Batman with the this fear toxin from this new developed plant. And now he's in a jungle.
Oh.
And, you have classic fear crap going on during this.
Yep.
And then this just leads to an all-out... I feel like in the end, it always has to end up just being a big brawl, right?
Yeah, it would have to be.
So you have all the characters show up. He's like, what the heck's going on? Riddler's not really there. He's in the outskirts. He's like on the top of like a control panel or something. Has like a megaphone or a microphone and is all like, what do you think, Batman? Can you solve this riddle? And in doing so, we have, your classic fight. He's fighting all these guys at the same time. It's epic. You realize how quick Bruce is off the, just thinking on his feet. He's fought all these people before. How do you beat them? He figures out a way to make it twist it for them to start fighting each other.
Okay.
Right? And as they start to implode, then Bruce has to, let's say he gets a pretty good beating. So he has to kind of duck out, but he gets out. And he's back at home. We can replace Alfred with anyone, by the way. Because maybe it doesn't work with Alfred. Maybe we need him to come home, and Alfred's like, that was too coordinated. Why would they work for Riddler? What's going on? Which gets Bruce thinking, what is going on? Proceed to Riddler round 2, plan 2. Right? They get over their little spat.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, that didn't work. What can we do now? Maybe we just all out go at him. He knows we're all working together. That the bait and switch thing ain't going to work this time. And they go for it. But obviously, we can't have this work. But this time, Talon's heavily involved. You see, we've seen him on the shadows of the first plan.
Yeah, we see like the eyes and everything like that, but it's just kind of
like just watching.
No, yeah.
And then maybe we see Talon talk to the court after Bruce is talking to Alfred about them, and then you cut to Talon talking to the court and have him say, eliminate them. Proceed to swoop. We shift over to the second fight, the plan 2. And this plan doesn't go according to anyone's plan. It doesn't go according to Batman's plan, and it doesn't go according to the Sinister Six plan. We need a name for them. What are some natural enemies to the bat? Like a bat in general.
Yeah.
And do any of them have 6 legs? I feel like there aren't many legged creatures that are probably attacking bats. It's probably other birds of prey, maybe.
Owls, hawks, and snakes eat bats.
How many talons do owls have?
You can't do the owls because the
I know, but it's almost like fitting.
Yeah, you can't do talons either, though. Raccoons.
No. I'm just thinking, let me cook.
Yeah. What eats bats? Owls, hawks, peregrine falcon. Cat.
Yeah, so lots of birds of prey.
If it's a low-flying bat, crocodiles. Apparently.
Okay, so what would Riddler name something with 6 things?
That's the thing. Is like it'd have to be like a meticulous like
something well thought on. The gruesome hexagon.
The gruesome hexagon.
I don't know. We would have to come up with a name. I don't really have a name. But anyway, so the second thing happens. The fight goes down. And basically, I think Talon sets up some sort of cameras. And as Batman's defeating them normally, maybe you see a nice finishing blow on Bane. Breaks like classic Bane stuff. Like breaks the cord that leads to the Venom. Hands him a finishing blow or something. But Talon ends up killing them. Whether some of them get away or whether they're knocked out on the ground before the police come. And he kills them. And he releases this video to the public. What makes it look like Batman has actually killed 6 of his rogues gallery.
Okay. All right.
So now Batman is on the run. Obviously, no one knows who he is, so he's good at being... He's back at, Wayne Manor. And now he's really confused. Did he kill them when he was under the fear toxin? Did he do it? He starts questioning himself. He doesn't know. That was a drug that he's never seen before. And eventually he'll lead to figuring out that someone else is behind this 6. Mm-hmm. Can't be the Joker. He's too personal. Right? He would never.
He would never do that.
Maybe it's one of the crime bosses. Penguin? Maybe. But no, they wouldn't want to work for Penguin. They don't respect him. Did they need to respect him? Maybe it's someone who has money. Who has money? Maybe they were drugged. Who has the ability to... Strange. Who has the ability to convince them? Who has so much power in the underground?
What about the underground?
The light bulb. It's got to be the court.
But they haven't been around in years.
He has to investigate those bodies. But it's no longer safe for Batman to just show up. He's no longer... He was already, there was already a iffy relationship with the police.
Now he's public enemy number 1.
Exactly. So he has to sneak in, examine the bodies. He gets caught. He has to steal a body. Now he's actually committed an actual crime. He's stolen a body. He's stolen Poison Ivy's body. And he figures out that it's
the court.
It's the court. He sees signs of Talon.
Yeah. Detectiveness figures it out that it's Talon.
How does he clear his name? Does he need to clear his name? Is that even important? Or is just the safety of Gotham? Is Gotham better off that these 6 are gone? Has the court done him a favor? Why would the court eliminate them? This is all off the top of my head, by the way.
This is good. I'm invested in this.
I don't know how to conclude it, to be honest.
It would have to be, he gives, this almost feels like the final hurrah for Batman.
In a way.
He gives up the title, realizing that Batman can never be a thing anymore.
But if he gets rid of Talon, they'll just get another.
That's why this is the ultimate, where he defeats the Court of Owls themselves.
So he has to expose the court.
He has to expose
everyone in the court.
Which by then exposes him for being Batman.
So Bruce will be known.
Bruce will be known as Batman.
And we'll have to run away. So he exposes the court in some
destroy
way, shape,
the
or
court,
form.
And
also beating Talon.
And by doing so, he reveals to the world that he is in fact Batman.
In order to defeat the entire court and make sure that they all go down for their crimes, he has to reveal himself as Bruce Wayne.
He pulls. It's so funny because I think of the Civil War Spider-Man thing. He takes his mask off in public and goes "It's me. I am Spider-Man. I am Batman."
And maybe he doesn't completely clear his name, and Bruce is on the run. Maybe he breaks out of prison. Maybe he goes to prison and then breaks out somehow. And then the story literally ends with him on vacation seeing Alfred.
Yeah.
It actually happened. Did it actually happen? Did it not happen? Who knows? He makes sure Alfred gets away though first before he anyone that he's ever been involved with Batman, he makes sure has money and is gone.
Yeah, and he's forced to leave Gotham behind.
Yep.
Which then, boom, a couple years later, we get a sequel. What's been going on in Gotham since then? What's the Joker been up to? That is the big question. Can the Joker live?
Do one of the Bat family take on the mantle?
Exactly.
Or is it too obvious at who they could be?
Nightwing goes missing and all of a sudden Batman's
back. Does Gotham spiral out of control? Or does it...
Do we get the Batman gang kind of thing?
Yeah.
Do we have various people putting the mantle on of Batman, random civilians?
Keeping their own city safe.
Exactly. Do we see a younger version of James Gordon in this and he decides to try and put the Bat mantle on because now that Batman's gone, he feels obligated to protect the city?
And or we can just have a new city where Bruce lives and we create a new hero. Someone more simple. Even more simple than Batman. I'm talking like ski mask level.
Yeah, very generic Mr. Nobody kind of thing.
Yeah. Mr. Nobody.
Ooh, that's a good title. Mr. Nobody.
And then we go into a new series. Like Nightwing becoming Grayson.
Yeah.
Batman becoming Mr. Nobody.
That's who he had to become.
And you just have the title like once one of the most famous people in the world, Bruce Wayne. Now, Mr. Nobody.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you for coming to my story. If someone has any artistic ability.
That'd be dope though. All jokes aside, that'd be an insane story.
Yeah, that's a
twists and turns.
That's a multi-volume one.
Exactly. But I think it'd be very curious to see at the end how the Joker would become of this. You know what I mean? Like there'd be no longer cat and mouse. It would just be.
Does the Joker find Mr. Nobody? Does the Joker commit suicide?
That's what I mean. Like
is the non-existence of Batman the best thing for Gotham?
For Gotham.
To be fair, those 6 people are also dead and the Court of Owls is gone.
I mean, yeah.
Which helps, but yeah.
Like, would there just be gang wars between Two-Face and Penguin and Joker?
And do they kill each other out?
Until they're out. Each other out.
And maybe they move on to a different city. They realize
put the new
without the court there, maybe Gotham is not as...
It crumbles in.
Yeah, maybe it's not as good of a city for crime in terms of making money. Maybe they have to just go to other cities and they get beat up by the Flash, you know? They get up by Superman, etc., etc.
Insane.
Anyways, who would you have in Batman Sinister 6? What would you call it? Would you call it the... I don't know. Name is still... It's definitely something that I can't think of off the top of my head.
The ultimate hurrah kind of thing, you know?
But what do you guys think? Would these 6 make a decent team? Are we missing someone? What do you think of the story? What would you add? Would you read it?
Take away.
Would you watch it? Would you pay me a lot of money because of that story? Let us know in our Discord. Link is down in our link tree down below. Check us out on all of our socials. We release a podcast every Wednesday. Make sure to follow us on any of your favorite podcast platforms. We're on as many as we can be. But yeah, we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.